Welcome back to another edition of History in Your Own Backyard. I'm Satoli. I'm here with Matt Becker, and we're in Boone County today at the old county clerk's office. Tell us a little bit about the building here, Matt.
Well, Satoli, the old Boone County Clerk's building was built in 1853, 1854. It's a temple form Greek revival structure made entirely of brick, and it is now, at this point, about 200 yards from its original location.
So where was it originally located?
It was originally at the corner of what's now Kentucky 18 and Kentucky 237, Washington and Jefferson Streets in the center of Burlington. And it was there from 1853 until about 1925, when it was bought by a bank building, or by a bank company. They relocated it across the street at that time, just jacked it up, rolled it on logs, about 50 feet to the west of its original location. And the quote in the paper at the time was, the moving of the building did not interfere with the bank doing business, as they continued to receive and hand out money as they moved along.
So they were still operating as a bank when the building was being moved.
Yeah, they moved it across the street, quickly got back and, kept rolling, dispensing money, taking deposits, what have you, and while they built the new building.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. Today, everything would stop.
Yeah.
Then they're like, this isn't going to slow us down.
Yeah.
And then the county bought it in 2001 and moved it from that spot back to here. And the whole process was very entertaining and dicey, to say the least. The people who moved it, Edwards Moving and Rigging, said it was the second most questionable building they've ever moved in terms of structure.
How come?
Because it had been moved before.
Okay.
And brick in general is difficult to move because it moves a little bit as you move it, and they were worried that it would literally collapse in a pile as they moved it down.
No kidding.
But it made it, was repointed and replastered and restored as it is today.
Wow. So what do you guys use it for today now?
Well, now it serves as the Historical Society's museum, and we have various meetings and such in there. So there's some artifacts and other displays in there, and then once a year they do like an old-fashioned day or a Burlington History Day. Then they have a Christmas festival where they open it up as well. And other events happen here. Like I said, now it's a museum now. It started off as a county clerk's building. When the county built the old courthouse in 1889, they no longer had a use for it because they moved all the functions into the courthouse.
Okay.
So at that point, they sold it off to the Boone County Deposit Bank. And the bank took it and remodeled the front. It originally had a center front entrance. For whatever reason, the bank moved it over to the side and replaced the original vault with their own vault.
Right.
Which is described as a massive time lock hall, burglar-proof safe set inside of, virtually speaking, an impregnable fireproof vault.
Huh.
So, fireproof and impregnable.
So I guess this was one of the main banks in town then, right?
It was the bank for a while.
Wow.
Yeah, until another one opened up in about 1906. And let's see, until 1925 it served as a bank. It was rolled across the street. At that point it became Burlington's post office. And it was the post office until 1959. Then it became a car garage.
No kidding.
They added repair bays to the back, and it served as the front office for Smith's Garage.
Huh.
For a number of years. So it has had many lives. I think it's on its sixth life at this point.
So then after the car garage, then it was rolled over here and became the Historical Society's office.
Correct.
Huh.
Yeah, like I said, many lives.
Now I understand you have a really famous person that used to live here in Burlington that had a lot to do with the post office in a roundabout way.
In a roundabout way, yeah. Yes, a man by the name of Frank Milburn was an inventor that moved to Burlington in 1938. And he earned his money as a military contractor, very hush-hush stuff. So, during World War II in particular, they would call him up and fly him out around the world, and he would consult on various mechanical issues. He was a machinist by trade and a mechanical genius and an inventor. So that was his bread and butter. But he also coached inventors. People would bring them their proposed inventions, prototypes, what have you, send him email, etc., and he would help them design it, further the design, saying, it's a terrible idea, don't go there, or help them move it along through the patent process and what have you. And the roundabout way that he's involved with this building is that he got tens of thousands of letters here.
Really?
Apparently, I mean, sacks of mail. It would be, everyone else's mail would be sorted out, and then there would be sacks from Milburn. And people still talk about it to this day. Oh, I remember the amount of mail Frank Milburn got at the clerk's office, or the post office. It was just incredible. And he apparently answered all those by himself. Stayed up very late, got 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night, answered those all personally.
It's a lot of writing.
That is a lot of writing back in the day.
So I understand he actually worked on the Norden Bombsight.
Yeah.
For World War II?
It was very hush-hush. He hired some local folks. He hired a couple of local women to work in his factory just out about half a mile from here. And they quietly manufactured a very small component of the site, which very few companies in the country could have done. He just had the special ability to do it and figure out how to do it. And that was part of the program. Since it was second only in terms of secrecy to the Manhattan Project, their goal was to have all the parts made very hush-hush and scattered around the country in places like this, so that if anything happened to one major place,
you'd still have plenty.
Yeah, you could still produce the site. And so every week or two, he would take a box full of these little parts. They were about the size of a nickel with a slot in them, a T-shaped slot went into the gyroscope. Take a box of those and a sidearm, hop in his car in the middle of the night, and drive up to the Gruen Watch Factory, Time Hill, in Mount Auburn.
Over in Cincinnati.
Yeah. And they were like the next level up in the subcontractor chain.
Okay.
So they were supposedly responsible for gathering other parts from other manufacturers and then getting them on to the government. Very hush-hush stuff, like I said.
Neat stuff.
Yeah. As I said, one of the things Milburn did was coach budding inventors. People would travel here. I mean, hundreds of people came to Burlington. And at the time, Burlington was not easy to get to. So they would visit him from all around the country. He got letters from around the world. And one of the inventions I found that he had an early prototype of was the original safety razor, the type with the screw bottom.
The old steel type.
The old steel type,
yeah.
I remember my dad using one of those.
Yeah.
And Milburn had somebody come in with that invention, and he thought, hey, this one's got some promise. And he coached them along through the patent process. Now, I don't know where that went from there and what major manufacturer eventually bought it.
Yeah.
But the original prototype came through Milburns' office out here in Burlington.
That's amazing. Small town like this, and it affects people all around the world.
It's funny, when you look at the history of Burlington, some surprisingly luminary figures showed up here, and Milburn is one of them.
Thanks again for watching another edition of History in Your Own Backyard. Remember, travel slowly and stop often. See ya.